So I've been thinking a bit this week about physical places and its importance on our spiritual journeys with God. I think too easily we can conclude that our interactions with God occur, just on a spiritual plane. Maybe just within the confines of our minds and in our hearts. But when we look at how God interacts with people throughout Scripture, we see that He interacts with them in physical places, and those places become important. And we name those places. In fact, every place that is important gets a name. And we see this not only in biblical maps, but if you look at a map in your own area where you live, I bet you'll be hard pressed to find any place that is not named. In the book of Genesis, chapter 28, we find the story of Jacob, who will later be renamed Israel. And he's traveling to go live with his uncle. And while he's traveling, he stops to rest somewhere, and he sleeps for the night. And while he's sleeping, he receives a vision, a dream. And in this dream, he sees a ladder going from heaven to earth, and there are angels descending from heaven to earth and going from earth to heaven. And God speaks to Jacob and tells him that this land in which he is sleeping now, he's going to give to his descendants. It's going to be the promised land. And when Jacob, wakes up in the morning, he says this in verse 16. Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? And we find all throughout the Bible that places are important. Right? Just a few examples is Mount Sinai. Moses received the commandments of God on Mount Sinai. It became an important place. The promised land that God was leading his people to was an important place that they were going. The city of Jerusalem was a physical place that was going to be holy and important within the history of Israel. We find the city of Bethlehem became important because that's where King David was from, and later his descendant and our Messiah, Jesus. In the New Testament, we find that places, again, are very important. And just one example is the Mount of Olives. We're told that Jesus frequently went to the Mount of Olives to pray. It's the place he went to immediately after his Last Supper, shortly before his betrayal and suffering and death on a cross. And these places, these physical, sacred spaces, these holy grounds are important. It's where God meets us. And you might have some sacred spaces, some holy grounds in your life. Maybe it's a favorite chair in your home that you like to sit in the morning and pray and read the Bible and spend time with God. Maybe it's a certain bench in a park that you like to go to. Maybe it's a campsite that you frequent. Maybe it's just in your car. Wherever it may be, I would encourage you to reflect on these sacred spaces, these holy grounds in your life. These places where you've encountered God in a powerful way. And I encourage you to frequent those places if you can. To go back to them and reflect on how God interacted with you in the past and look for new experiences with him in the present. Or maybe you're not even aware of sacred spaces in your life. Maybe you're like Moses approaching the burning bush and you need God to reveal this to you. You need God to tell you, take the sandals from off your feet, for the land, the ground that you are standing on is holy ground. And I would encourage you to be aware this week. Be aware of those places you go where God is there with you, revealing something to you, saying something to you, or simply just being with you. Allow yourself to connect to the physical, sacred space, and may that connect you more deeply to God in the sacred spaces of your heart and in your mind. And I think that you will find that your awareness of God's presence and your love for him will grow. It is my hope that you will come to these sacred spaces, these holy grounds, and you will not say, man, God was in this place and I missed it. But may you say, wow, God was in this place and I was with him.